Hello friends, good evening to all of you. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible to all of you? Hi. So, yesterday all of you have came or still you are about to come? So, the very first thing, yesterday what we have discussed is the basics of, you can see, that is the type 1 driver JDBC type 1 driver. We have discussed about this particular one, that is the JDBC type 1 driver. Is it okay? Good evening to all of you. Now in the next case here, in the type 1 driver, all the concepts also we have already discussed. What all the different kinds of concepts are there in the type 1 driver, that already I have explained to you, that already we have gone through this. Fine. So first what we are now going to see, that how steps to write the JDBC program. The first one is what? That is the steps to write the JDBC program. This is the particular one, is the steps to write the JDBC program into this, because this is the one which is there, is the steps to write the JDBC program into that. Now here first, whenever as I am talking about, that is the steps to write the JDBC program and all this sort of things here. First in this, so let's now discuss the steps to write. Okay, everything, is it clear? Are you able to see on the board properly? Is it visible to all of you? आप सब लोगों को दिखाई दे रहा है सही से? Please reply it fastly. Okay. Now let's understand the concept here, how it is working, what all the processes which is involved into that, and all other sort of details into this. So whenever I am talking about that steps to write the JDBC program, independent to any driver first. We are not talking about by using which driver and all other sort of things. Whenever we, as such, we are talking about how do we write any kind of JDBC program. So let's understand how we are going to write the JDBC program. What all the basic steps which we need to follow in order to interact with the database, or in order to just have the database connection into this. Well, so in the first case here, first when I am writing here the step 1, what is that I am writing? Step 1 I am discussing into this. This is the step 1 I am writing here. What exactly step 1 is in this? What is the step 1 inside this case? The very first thing in this case is the step 1 is to load the driver class. Load the driver class. The first one what we should do is the load the driver class into this case. Fine. Now the second one, or you can call that as the step 2. The first one is the step 1 is to load the driver class. Second one, when again I'm saying it's second one which is there is the establish the connection. Establish the connection. Second one we are talking about establishing the connection. First we are loading the driver class. What is the meaning of loading the driver class? That we will see, that we will discuss. Establish the connection. How we are going to establish the connection, that also we will discuss. At the same time now I am talking about step 3. What is that step 3 is I am talking about? See, first one is load the driver class. What is that? Load the driver class. The second concept is what here? Establish the connection. Now the third important thing is, see, why you are doing all these things? You are doing these all steps or these all processings, whichever you are doing it, to have the connection with this database. This is your database. This particular one, whatever you have is your database. And now you are going to interact with this particular database. Fine. You are going to interact with this particular database, whatever we are having here. Is it okay? Now, so maybe by doing these 2 steps, you had the connection with this. Now connection is established, suppose. Connection established now. So why did you establish the connection? What is the purpose behind, or what is the purpose here in order to, why you are going to establish this connection? Why you are creating these connections with the database? Purpose is you want to perform some of the, or you want to submit some of the queries. You wanted to perform some of the operations on that. You want to submit some query to the database. Getting it? You want to submit some query to the database. And that's the reason you are performing some, that's the reason you wanted to perform the connection with the database, right? So that query, what is that query? So the third question is, prepare the query. What is your query here first? So you must have to prepare your query. You must have to prepare your query. What query? Whatever you wanted to submit to the database. The query, what you wanted to submit to the database, that query you must have to prepare it. Once you have prepared that query, once you have just written the query, what exactly you wanted to submit to the database, in that case, so this query is ready now. We have prepared the query now. Now again, in the case of step 4, when I am saying, what is that as I am saying is the step 4. So what we have to do in the case of step 4 is, see, we have done this query, okay, now, so query we have written. Now this query has to be submitted to the database. Got my point here? Just understand here. Submit the query to the database. But remember one more point, that in order to submit query to the database, to that particular database, whenever we wanted to submit some query, to the database, whatever the database we are using, if we want to submit some query to the database, understand here, we want to submit some query to the database. So in that case, what do I wanted to do here? What exactly I wanted to do? So directly we cannot submit the query, right? So instead of this here now, instead of writing this step, I am writing few more things here. What is that few more things I am writing into this? Create the statement object. Create the statement object. After creating the statement object now, step 5 is submit query to the database with the help of statement. We are just trying to submit that query to the database with the help of what? Statement. We want to submit that. We wanted to do that. So we wanted to submit query to the database with the help of what? Statement. Now I am writing step 6 into this case. What is the step 6 I want to write here? See here, first load the driver class, establish the connections, prepare the query, create the statement, submit the query to the database with the help of statement. Now, so see here, when you have submitted this query to the database, so what exactly it is going to do in the case of database? It will process it. Process the query. Where? In the database. And after processing that query, what lastly it has to do is it will again give you back something. So what it is giving to back is the response it is giving you back. Query response, or in another form, you can say that is the result, the query. What you have submitted to the database, that query result it is giving back to the client or from wherever you have submitted the query. Well, after doing this here, so we are getting the result. So once we got the result, so here you see here, process the result. What result? The data which is coming from the back end, from the database, whatever the data is coming here, now that you need to process it here. And step 7, which is, what is that step 7? What I am just going to write it inside this case. The step 7, whatever I am writing in this case here is, so process the result. After processing this result here, now in the step number 7, what do I want to do here? Now close all the connections, or in another form you can say resources. Whatever resources we would have used from step 1 to step 6, close all that resources here. So basically what you have to do is, this is the 7 steps you need to have, you need to write in order to, what in order to do? In order to write any, in order to develop any kind of query, in order to develop any kind of database processing. This is what we need to do. This is what all the steps which we must have to follow. These all are the different types of steps which we are going to process in these cases. These all are the steps which we are going to process with the database, and in this particular way we are going to do all this thing. So these all are the steps what we are following in order to write a simple JDBC query into that. Now based on that I will be writing the program, but is that these steps are clear to you all? Yes, please answer me. आप सबको ये क्लियर है स्टेप्स, जो मैंने स्टेप्स लिखे हैं कि in order to write a simple JDBC program, what all the different kinds of options, different things which we are going to adopt in order to write the simple JDBC program, right? It is, and that is what we are going to do into this. Here, this is what the basic things which we must have to follow while writing the program. Fine. This is the basic steps. Whenever we are writing any JDBC program, we must have to do this here. Well, is it clear now? Is it clear to all of you? Okay. Now let's understand to the new things, or let's understand to the next things into this here. What is the next things? आप में से बहुत सारे लोग लेट आ रहे हैं, अब जाके 15 लोग हुए हैं जो कल थे जितने, है ना? आज कोई नया है क्या? Anyone is new today? Those who were not attending yesterday's class? Anyone new today? No? Okay. Fine. Now let's understand, let's talk about one more thing into this. So shall we write one program in order to just discuss all these things? I am writing now one program to again go it in this particular way. I am writing one program here. So let's uh, have a look on the program, how we are writing this JDBC program just by following these steps. Eclipse. Here I am now using the Eclipse into this case. I am using the Eclipse in this. So first I will be using Eclipse in order to write the JDBC program. Here I am creating one, just a second. Just have a look on this. So it is taking some time to open. Now let's see it. ये फॉन्ट काफी छोटे दिख रहे हैं क्या सबको? फॉन्ट साइज सही है या शुड आई इंक्रीज द फॉन्ट साइज? Sarik, are you attending the class today? Maybe. Okay. Now, here let's see that this is your Eclipse layout. This is your Eclipse, complete Eclipse layout. This is the Eclipse layout. In this now, this is in the Project Explorer 1. In the Project Explorer 1, I am writing the first project. I am going to create the simple project into this case. So let's create the simple project here. And here now the simple Java project I am going to create in these cases. I am creating here the Java project. So here I am writing JDBC 1 I have created into this. And well, after creating this JDBC, now I am running it here. See, it is asking you to create a module info.java. Are you able to see this pop-up? That module info.java, but we are not as such creating it. We are not creating this module info.java and all other things. Fine. We are not creating this module info. So in this case now, here we are just writing the open perspective and here click on finish. This is the first JDBC program. We are writing it here inside this. This is the first JDBC program. That's what we are inside this. We are trying to write it inside this. Is it okay? Now, whenever as I am writing, in this So in this particular one, let's write one program based on the JDBC type 1 driver here. Let's have a look. Here in this case, first I am just doing the right click. Well, here we have clicked on the right click, and whenever as I am writing the right click option into this case, here and inside this something called as the JTC1 I am writing. This is one program which I wanted to write it here. This is a simple program which I have written. I am increasing the font of this. So let's go into this. Here I will be making it bold, and then size I am doing 20. Let's do it here. Hope so it is visible to you all. So here, particularly in this case now, in this JDBC first, well, I am writing this main method. Let it be. Here is the one I have written this main method. Now after writing this main method, the step one what I have to write is load the driver class. Step 2 in this case is what? First one I am writing load the driver class. Load the driver class. Step 2 is establish the connection. Step 3 is what? So the first, as I have written here, load the driver class. Second one is establish the connection. And after establishing the connection, next now, what next I have to do is prepare the query. Step 4, what I am going to do now, create the statement object. Create the statement object. Here we are creating the statement object. Now next one, after this, I'll write here the step something called as the 5. And in the case of step 5 here, what is the next one? What shall I do now here in this? Submit the query to the database. Step 6, what shall I do now? So one is the submit the query to the database. Submitting the query to the database. Now process the result, and again that is step 7 is what? Like 1, load the driver class, establish the connections, prepare the query, create the statement object, submit the query to the database, process the result, and then after what else I should do here? Close the resource connection. We are going to just close this resource connection. This is what the basic format we are going to use. Did you understand it? Now, Now accordingly, as like the way what we have written in this case, we are just going to use few more things into this. What is that few more things? I am writing here class.forName into this. If I'll ask you what is the type 1 driver class name, what is the type 1 driver class name? Can you please write in the comment box? What is the type 1 driver class name? Please. JDBC dot ODBC dot sun dot JDBC dot ODBC dot JDBC ODBC driver. This is what a driver class name I have written here. This is the driver class. No, the name I am not asking. I am asking is the driver class name. It's a class name. Here you see that. The last class, what is there here, I have shown you what was the driver class name here into this case. I have shown you in that case what is the driver class name into this. Here first, let me open in this. Just have a look. Just have a look. This is what yesterday we were talking about. What we were talking about in this case is here. So here, I am writing the type 1. So see, this is your type 1 driver. This is your type 1 driver. Now you find out where is the class name. So we have got the name of the class is sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. That is what your class name. And this is what the class name we need to load. So we will discuss why do we need to load the class. We will come to that point. But again, we have another concept in this. Another one is the URL. You must be aware with the URL what you are writing into this case. This is the URL. You see here. This is what the program I have written it inside this one here. This is the URL you must have to write it inside this. Now it depends. So say here first. Here in this case, when we are trying to establish the connection, I am writing here. So let's see first. I am writing, these all are the basic APIs of connection. Con is equal to null. I will come to these points, what all these points are, what is the connection and all other things. At present, I have just written connection statement of st is equal to null. Statement of st is equal to null I have written. So connection of con is equal to null, statement of st is equal to something called as the null I am writing into this. Here this is what I have written. Okay, now I am trying to establish the connection here. So well, I am writing here the driver manager dot get connection, and in this get connection method, I'll explain you step by step how the things are coming into that, how we are going to write all that, and how we are going to implement all this sort of things into this. We will be coming into this. So here, when I am talking about driver manager dot get connection, so we must have to write here the URL JDBC colon ODBC open data, and now you colon this, you must have to write the DSN name. What is the DSN name? You should understand it here. I am writing here the DSN name. So maybe my DSN I am writing here. My DSN, and then username, and I will tell you just now what is the username as well as what is the password here and about what we are talking about. So Drivermanager.getConnection, so it returns to the type of connection here. This is what it is returning. Let's do one thing. Since it is throwing some kind of exception, so let's write it into the try and catch block. That is the better options what we can adopt here to do something like this. Fine. Now see, there is no error again inside this one. We have written some sort of things like this. So what we are writing, connection con is equal to null, statement st is equal to null, class.forName, sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc driver. Here I am writing driver manager get connection. So in that JDBC colon odbc dollar my DSN and username as well as the password I am writing into this. Well, again in that case, so I am coming to each one of that very clearly in that how it works and what is the again basic processings of all that. Again in that one, here I am writing to prepare the query inside this. So SQL1 I am writing, and let's say I am writing here, what is that I am writing now? Do one thing, select star from some table name we have given, maybe that is your table name, student. Select star from the student. This is one string query you have selected. So that's the very simple thing you have written, select star from the corresponding student table you are writing it in. Well, in the next case here, now I am just writing first st is equal to con dot create a statement. This is the statement what we have created. With the help of this particular statement, we will be submitting query to the database. With the help of this statement, we will submit query to the database. So con dot create statement we are writing here. What we are writing? Con dot create statement we are writing, and then with this help of statement we will submit query to the database in that case. Well, again st dot what is that? Execute I am writing. So execute update I am writing here. And whenever as I am writing execute update, so I'll write better here to write it SQL1. That is what the query you are going to submit to the database. And in these cases here, int of I is equal to st.execute query I have written here. Process the result. If or well into this here, instead of execute query, I am writing here execute and boolean of something called as the bn. This is result I have written into this, and now I am going to process. So if bn, which is going to be the true, if it is going to be the true, I'm just trying to process this. Well, so here okay with data, and else okay without data. Now next inside this, whenever just I have written, now I am going to close all this connection. So if con is not equal to null, then con dot which one now? Close this connection. If st is not equal to null, then st dot which one now? Close this connection. This is what the basic concept which we have used it here. See, this is your program is now ready. Anyone is having any doubt in this now? This one is the one which I am talking about, the type 1 driver. This is exactly one is the type 1 driver which as I am talking about. If any one of you are getting any question in this, you can ask. Now the question here, important point is what here? What is the important point into this case? The important point here is something like, say here, understand one point. Say, what is this here? User DSN. User DSN, did you understand what is the here my DSN name? This DSN name you need to create it whenever you are configuring the ODBC driver. So somehow type 1 driver we will not be able to configure it because at present you can say that is the current version of your operating system is not supporting it, and even the Java current version is also not supporting it. So that is one reason here. But again, yeah, you can do one thing just in order to check it out something. Let's see here, I am writing control panel. Here is the one which is the control panel I have written inside this. The control panel, when I am just going into this one here, just get it into this. See here, administrative tools. In administrative tools, I am clicking out here, and after just going on the administrative tool, ODBC was there. ODBC something, whatever is available here, that I am just clicking out on this. And here under the user DSN, so whenever you are adding, you must have to provide some of the database, and that user DSN you must have to create it. Okay, anyways, in this it is not supporting, so let's not talk about this one. So from here, user DSN will come. But again, the question here is, and what you should understand is username. Username of that corresponding username of the, say here, username here we are talking about is, see, when I am, see, देखो किसकी हम यूजरनेम की बात कर रहे हैं, कौन सा यूजरनेम? तो भाई हम जिससे यहां से हम डेटा को डेटाबेस से कनेक्शन स्टैब्लिश कर रहे हैं, राइट? सो जब भी हम डेटाबेस से यहां पे कनेक्शन स्टैब्लिश कर रहे हैं, ध्यान से सुनना, whenever we are establishing just the connection with this particular database, remember this point, whenever we are establishing the connection with this particular database in this one, understand it, whenever we are establishing the connection with that particular database, so I must have to, and see where it is at this step we are providing the connection, when establish the connection at this step. So what do I have to do is, I must have to provide the username. I must have to write here the username, and second one is the password you must have to provide. अब which one? बताओ आप लोग किसमें किसका पासवर्ड प्रोवाइड करोगे, बताओ जल्दी से बताओ कमेंट बॉक्स में. Which username and password you are going to provide? सो गए हो क्या सब लोग? बिल्कुल सही, संस्कार मित्तल. डेटाबेस का हमें प्रोवाइड करना पड़ेगा. कौन सा डेटाबेस है आपका? ये है जो इसका, अब ये डिपेंड करेगा आपने इसे आइदर माईसीक्वल यूज किया है या फिर ओरेकल यूज किया है. कौन सा डेटाबेस आपने यूज किया है यहां पे? Whichever database you have used, that corresponding database password you are going to provide it here. Are you getting it? You must have to provide that corresponding database password, right? So in that case, if it is your, suppose that it is the if it is, let's talk about the Oracle, then you must have to provide the username, or the Oracle username is here something called as the system I must have to write, and the password which I am writing, whatever X, Y, Z you have given in your system, that password you must have to provide it here. Is it clear to all? Okay. That password you are going to provide it here. So this is how it works, and somehow the type 1 driver is there. We at present we cannot see it because your the dependency and the operating system doesn't support into that case. But okay, now you tell me one thing. Are you okay? Are you clear with the basic structure of the program or not? Tell me. What about others? सब लोग सो गए क्या? संस्कार, विमल, जानवी, शिवम टंडन, आप ही लोग रिप्लाई कर रहे हो, और लोग कहाँ गए? एनीवेज, ठीक है, ओके। अब नेक्स्ट बात करते हैं इसमें, नेक्स्ट समझते हैं। इतना क्लियर है? इतना में किसी को भी डाउट है तो आप बताइए। इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस, एनी डाउट इन ऑल दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग्स, you can please tell to me, you can please ask with me here in this. Now first see, I am just now removing all that. अब देखो यहां पे, अगर सिंस देन हम बस बात करें JDBC प्रोग्राम की, तो भाई JDBC प्रोग्राम आपने लिख लिया, आपको पता चल गया कि क्या API लिखना है, क्या नहीं लिखना है, कैसे चलना है, नहीं चलना है. नाउ यू आर ओके विद दिस, यू आर क्लियर विथ ऑल दिस थिंग्स. बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस नाउ things are now very clear with that in another format, in another way. Thing is that आपको समझना क्या है अब इसमें, ध्यान देना. एक तो बात सही है, चलो हमने इस तरह से किया, और अब हमारे कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट API हैं JDBC. अब मैंने कल आपको बताया था, yesterday we have discussed, what we have discussed, that JDBC is what? JDBC is a technology. It's a technology. And it's been given by whom? कौन दिया इसको? इसको दिया है कौन? Sun Microsystem has given this technology. Sun Microsystem has given this technology. Hope you are okay with this, you are clear with this. Sun Microsystem has given this particular technology. Is it okay? Now when Sun Microsystem is giving this technology, so as I told, it is what, in another sense, it is something called as a API which has been implemented by other database vendors. Are you getting my point? This has been implemented by other different database vendors. Fine. So that API we need to understand, which is the API, how we are going to use it, what is the uses of all that API. Let's talk about that corresponding API here. Fine. Okay. Now you would have just seen first. मैं पहले आपको API, I am explaining the API, and then after I will API the functioning of corresponding APIs what has been given. That I will be explaining to this. Is it okay? So let me explain you the API, how it is going to work in these cases. Let's see here. Let's discuss something in this case. What is that I am going to discuss now? In this one, first one is connection. First one is what? Connection. We would have just now, we would have seen in our program that we have talked, or we were talking something about the connection. The second important thing is, so one is the connection, statement. Second one is what? Is the statement, something we are writing here. So one, which is the connection, second one what we are writing is the statement. Again, the third one is driver manager. Third one we are talking about is the driver manager. And again associated with this, the fourth one which again I am writing is connection, statement, driver manager. Fourth one again, what else I am going to write here? Understand it here. Connection, statement, driver manager. Now, result set I am writing. Result set. So, if you will observe in your program just now, whatever we have written, are we using these basic common API? Basic API of JDBC. Are we not using the same thing? The basic API of JDBC. Is it the same thing? यहां तक किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप पूछ सकते हो. इफ यू हैव एनी काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस टिल दिस पॉइंट यू कैन आस्क. अगर आप में से किसी को भी किसी टाइप का कोई भी क्वेश्चन है तो आप प्लीज पूछ सकते हैं. अब देखो नेक्स्ट यहां तक समझते हैं. अब यहां पे क्या हम समझते हैं? पहली बात, एक कनेक्शन हो गया, दूसरा स्टेटमेंट हो गया, तीसरा ड्राइवर मैनेजर हो गया, चौथा रिजल्ट सेट हो गया. ये हमारे पास अलग अलग टाइप के रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल हैं, अलग अलग डिफरेंट ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल हैं इनटू दिस. सो बेसिक एपीआई है जेडीबीसी का. कनेक्शन, स्टेटमेंट, ड्राइवर मैनेजर, रिजल्ट सेट, all these n number of different things whatever we are having it into this. Okay, now first what we were doing, loading the driver class. So first here I am writing, I am writing here, hope you are able to see this here. First is why do I need to load the driver class? Why do I need to load this driver class? That is one important thing. Why do I need to load this driver class? So at this time, let this question as it is. We will discuss it later on. Why do we need to load this driver class? अब जो मैंने स्टेप्स आपसे बात किया था, अलग अलग जो स्टेप्स बात किया था, डिफरेंट स्टेप्स हमने बात किया था, उन स्टेप्स को हम समझते हैं. वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड दैट करस्पॉन्डिंग स्टेप्स वॉट एवर वी हैव रिटन इन दिस केस. हमने जो स्टेप्स यहां पे लिखा हुआ है, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दैट ऑल स्टेप्स. व्हाट इज देयर हियर, व्हाट वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन दिस केस. फाइन, लेट्स सी हियर what all the different steps are there into this. So let's see here first. Connection. When I am talking about connection, what is your connection is? Is it an interface? Do you think connection is your interface or not? Connection is the interface. This is what? Okay, well. Next one, when I am saying statement, so statement is what? Your interface. ये भी एक interface है, ठीक है? ये भी एक interface है, दिख रहा है सबको? और ड्राइवर मैनेजर हमारा क्या है? ड्राइवर मैनेजर इज ऑल्सो अ क्लास. ड्राइवर मैनेजर जो है हमारा एक क्लास है. इट इज अ क्लास. ड्राइवर मैनेजर इज बेसिकली अ क्लास. एंड अगेन द बेसिकली व्हाट आई से इज द रिजल्ट सेट. व्हाट वी हैव इज द इंटरफेस. इट इज अ इंटरफेस. द रिजल्ट सेट whatever we are having here is the result set, is the interface into this case here, right? Okay, now again in the particular one, ये अब देखो आप, अब हमने पहला बात क्या किया? अगर हम पहला बात करें यहां पे, तो हमने क्या किया कि कनेक्शन. अब देखो ये आप एक बात ध्यान से समझो. आप पहले इन चीजों को समझ लो कि ये क्या है. ये अलग एपीआईज हैं. अब हम अपने प्रोग्राम में बोल रहे थे कि फर्स्ट जब हम ड्राइवर क्लास को लोड किए, आफ्टर लोडिंग द ड्राइवर क्लास वी वर एस्टैब्लिशिंग द कनेक्शन इन अनदर फॉर्म. वी वर ट्राइंग टू क्रिएट द टाइप ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ टाइप कनेक्शन विद द हेल्प ऑफ ड्राइवर मैनेजर. वी वर ट्राइंग टू क्रिएट द ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ type connection with the help of driver manager. So we called, what did we call here? Driver manager dot get connection. Here I am writing into this. This is the driver manager dot get connection, something we have written into this, and this is returning what? It is returning something called as the connection of something con. Connection of con it is returning. So in con it is giving something from here. Fine. So it is an interface. So my question is, and see, from this driver manager and the get connection, what is the type of things it is giving into the connection? It must be something to the type and object of type the connection. So we will discuss it tomorrow, that what is the type of connection, type object, and all other sort of things. That we will discuss it, and all other things here. Okay, so we will discuss what is the relationship between connection, driver manager, statement, results, all. अभी बहुत कुछ है डिस्कस करने का इसमें, ठीक है? तो अब आप बताओ, इसमें कोई क्वेश्चन, आपको कोई डाउट, किसी भी तरह का कोई क्वेश्चन है तो बताइए. If any question is there in this, please tell me. Any questions? Okay. So now class सही जा रहा है, नहीं जा रहा है? Is it the class is going on properly? इसमें? And how you are feeling in attending this online class? ये देखो हम लोग एकदम अलग टाइप से ऑनलाइन क्लास कर रहे हैं, तो क्या ये सही है सब लोगों का? एटलीस्ट आप लोग जितने लोग भी अटेंड कर रहे हो क्लास, हम सबका एक फीडबैक चाहते हैं. इसी कमेंट बॉक्स में यू कैन राइट ऑल ऑफ योर फीडबैक. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. ड्राइवर विल नॉट कॉल ऑटोमेटिकली द URL. URL कैन automatically call the driver, and it is a dynamic driver class loading facility that we will discuss tomorrow. That we will be discussing tomorrow. What is the driver class loading facility and all other sort of things. So if any question is coming into this, if you have any kind of questions, you can please ask. कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप बोल सकते हैं इसमें. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot.